Alright, remnants, let's read the title of today's message together. The remnants who made a resolution. Let's read it again. The remnants who made a resolution. Let's now read Daniel chapter 1 verses 8 through 9. But Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. Now God had caused the official to show favor and compassion to Daniel. Daniel chapter 1 verses 8 through 9. This took place 100 years ago. You know the airplanes that fly in the sky, right? This was when those planes did not exist in the world. Hey, look at the newspaper. The newspaper says that someone had tried to fly in the sky, but had fallen and died. At this, the older brother replied, "Oh? He tried to fly in the sky? How? He's not a bird. How is he going to fly in the sky?" Hey, we should try to make a machine that allows us to fly in the sky. Surely, one day, people will be able to fly in the sky. Let's try it. That's right. One day, even if it's not now, people will be able to fly in the sky. This is how the brothers started to study every day. Even though no one asked this of them, they started to study. Studying was enjoyable for them. Why? It was because these brothers had a dream. What kind of dream? One day, people will be able to fly in the sky. This is how the brothers only thought about flying when they were sleeping, when they were awake, and when they were eating food. They thought about this every day. One day, people will be able to fly in the sky. The brothers continuously thought of ways to allow people to fly. They continued to think about this to the point where flying appeared in their dreams. People started laughing at them and mocking them. Hey, what are they doing over there? Rumor has it that they're trying to find a way to allow people to fly in the sky. Even though people were mocking them, these brothers did not give up, and they continued to try until the end. Why? These brothers had a dream. A dream. One day, people will be able to fly in the sky like a bird.
난다. 야,
Oh, we failed again. Let's not give up, but try again. This is how the brothers continued to experiment. However, they continued to fail. They failed once, twice, 10 times, 100 times, even 1,000 times. They failed 1,000 times. If they continued to fail like this, they could give up. But these brothers continued trying. These brothers continued trying even when it rained, even when strong winds were blowing. One day, people will be able to fly in the sky like a bird. These brothers did not give up. The brothers continued trying even when it rained and even when strong winds were blowing, and they did not give up. This was because they had a dream. One day, people will be able to fly in the sky like a bird. Then one day, "Brother, this is the time. Run, run. It's working. It's flying. It's flying." These two brothers finally, after countless failures, finally made a machine that flies in the sky. These brothers are none other than the Wright brothers. These brothers had a dream since they were young. Are you curious about what they look like when they were younger? They look like this. These brothers thought that one day people will be able to fly like birds. They thought this every day. They did not give up, and they challenged themselves every day. They were not afraid of failure. Why? One day, surely people will be able to fly in the sky like birds. Then, what happened as a result of their dream and vision? The machine that we use when we travel very long distances, the airplane, was invented. Eventually, people were able to fly in the sky. Many people made fun of the brothers, but the brothers held on to their vision that one day people will be able to fly in the sky like birds. They continued to challenge themselves, holding on to this dream. Our remnants who are worshiping here today, you all are being imprinted with the covenant from a young age. We call this C for covenant. Seeing this covenant in advance. Then God's amazing wish becomes my wish in advance. We call that V for vision. We call this vision. Then everywhere you go, you will enjoy this. You will think about this for 24 hours. You will even dream about this. You saw how the Wright brothers continued to study and dream about this, right? We call this D for dream. Then wherever you go, you will conquer in advance. This is a story that we will look at a little bit later, but the Babylonian king saw the remnants and was shocked. And the remnants saved a lot of kings. The people of the world are going to see all of you remnants and think, wow, God is truly with you. We call this I for image. What follows next is an achievement in advance. An amazing masterpiece will be left behind. You saw the airplane, right? The Wright brothers left an amazing masterpiece, the airplane. We call this P for practice. The imprinted covenant in you will undoubtedly bear lots of fruits. God's people, the Israelites, were taken as captives to Babylon. All of God's temples were burnt up. Even the Israel king was taken as captive. A very terrible thing had happened. We call this a disaster. How did God's people get taken as captives like this? How was God's temple burnt up and even the king taken as captive? These Israelites, God's people, lost hold of something very important. they lost hold of this. Because they lost hold of this, a great disaster of the age had come. Then what is the covenant that the Israelites had lost hold of? Remnants, through the message today, I hope that you think carefully about what it is that the Israelites had lost hold of. Satan went inside the body of a serpent to deceive the humans. And the humans had broken the covenant that they had with God. What did Satan say to deceive the humans? The fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, the fruit that God said that if you eat it, you will surely die. Satan went inside the body of a serpent and told the humans to eat this fruit. The day that you eat this fruit, you will not die. Your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God. That is how the humans were deceived by Satan, broke the covenant that they had with God, and they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which God had said that they would die if they ate from it. This is how the humans had become separated from God. God gave the humans a covenant that would solve this problem. That is none other than the covenant of Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. How important is this? You can never forget this. You all can recite Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, right? Should we all recite this verse together? And I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Amen. Boys and girls, the offspring of woman will crush the head of the serpent. This covenant was the gospel that God gave to the humans in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. What happened as a result of the humans breaking their covenant with God and eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? God said that they will surely die. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1 says that, as for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins. You are dead. If you are separated from God and you become a child of Satan, you are dead. What does Ephesians chapter 2, verse 3 say? Like the rest, we were by nature deserving of wrath. This is exactly what being dead means. We call this original sin. The offspring of woman, Jesus, came to earth to solve 3 problems. Why did Jesus come to earth? 1 John chapter 3, verse 8 says, "The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's work." Jesus came as the true king who destroyed the authority of Satan. Disasters come without reason. Jesus came to this earth to solve the problems of these disasters. He came and died on the cross on our behalf and faced this disaster on our behalf. Jesus shed his blood on the cross to solve the problems of these disasters. The true priest who solved this problem. People who are separated from God do not have true happiness. God opened up a way for people to meet God. Jesus said, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus came as the true prophet. The covenant that was given by God. The covenant that is even more precious than life. We call this the gospel. Can you lose hold of this? No, you cannot. Can you forget about the gospel? Absolutely not. You can never lose hold of this gospel. You must hold on to this every day. The day that the Israelites killed an innocent lamb and spread its blood over their front door was the day that the Israelites came out of Egypt. This is the tabernacle. Inside the tabernacle, there are many important things. There's the Ark of the Covenant, the lampstand, the altar of incense, the bronze basin. These are all things given to help the Israelites hold on to the covenant of Jesus Christ. During their journey in the wilderness, the Israelites can see something as they open their windows. What can they see? They can see the tabernacle. You saw all of the important things that were in the tabernacle, right? Those are all things given to hold on to Jesus Christ. The Israelites faced the tabernacle so that every day they would be reminded of the covenant. When they opened the door and stepped outside, they could see the tabernacle. God wanted the Israelites to give worship every day. But as time passed, the Israelites started to eat, drink, and live comfortably. They lost hold of the covenant. This is how the Israelites were taken as captives to the powerful nation Babylon. Remnants, do you know the reason why disasters came to the Israelites and why they were taken as captives to Babylon? What did they lose hold of? The covenant and the gospel that they must not lose hold of. They lost hold of everything. It was at this time there were remnants that God had prepared. Even though they were taken as captives, these remnants made a resolution. What kind of resolution did they make? Let's never bow down to the idol. Let's never eat the food that was used to worship the idols. Let's not lose hold of the covenant, and let's not forget about the covenant. Let's enjoy the blessing of the spiritual summit every day. I will pray to God 3 times a day. These remnants did not just make a random resolution. They made this resolution with a reason. This is how these remnants made a resolution to never eat the food that was used to worship the idols. Then what happened? Through God's amazing works, these remnants did not eat the food that was used to worship the idols, but they ate vegetables and drank water. Then they looked healthier than before. And it wasn't just that. Do you know how incredible the wisdom that they received from God is? God poured so much wisdom to these remnants that they were 10 times smarter than the wisest people of Babylon. This is what happens to the remnant who makes a resolution. I know the reason why the Israelites were taken as captives to Babylon. Why? The Israelites lost hold of the covenant. Because they enjoyed eating and drinking, they lost hold of the covenant and turned to idol worship. This is how they were taken as captives. That is why I made a resolution. I will pray to God 3 times a day facing Israel. Even though Daniel knew that he would be put to death if he prayed to God, he opened his window and prayed to God 3 times a day, facing Israel while giving thanks. This Daniel saved a lot of kings through the amazing works of God. And because Daniel's CVDIP was fulfilled, eventually the Israelites were set free from captivity of Babylon. This is the CVDIP that is being imprinted in you from a young age. Even though the wicked servants tried to kill Daniel, did he die? No. The remnants who hold on to the covenant from a young age do not fail. They are bound to succeed. For all of you remnants who have the covenant, God will send his heavenly army and angels to protect you. Why? Because you held on to the covenant that God values the most. All of the remnants who are worshiping here today, you are the spiritual summits who know where the problem of this world originated from. You know the solution to the problem is the covenant. Jesus is the Christ. You also have this covenant imprinted in you. The covenant that God's people, the Israelites, had lost hold of. The remnant who was taken as captive and made a resolution. After this message, you all will have the mission time where you will share the gospel with the world. Isaiah chapter 60 says, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and his glory appears over you. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Today, just like Daniel who held on to God's covenant, his CVDIP, and made a resolution, I hope that all of you remnants be the remnants who make your own resolutions.
기쁨이 퐁퐁 서밋 타임. 언약을 가진 다니엘은 이스라엘이 다시 복음을 붙잡도록 매일 기도했어요. 결국 다니엘은 바벨론에 여호와 하나님을 증거하고 바벨론에서 풀려나는 응답을 받았어요. 우리도 다니엘처럼 여호와 하나님을 증거할 거예요. 그럼 오늘은 237 나라의 깃발을 꽂으며 세계복음화의 꿈을 미리 가져볼까요? 준비물은 스케치북, 연필, 가위, 풀, 테이프, 수습강이나 빨대, 꾸미기 재료, 지난주 작품인 세계지도가 필요해요. 스케치북이 3등분이 되도록 접어요. 접은 선을 따라 가위로 오려볼까요? 오린 스케치북을 반으로 접어주세요. 만들고 싶은 모양의 깃발을 그려요. 7개 그려주세요. 그린 모양을 따라서 가위로 오려요. 여러 가지 재료로 깃발을 꾸며주세요. 세계복음화 하면 무엇이 생각나나요? 생각나는 것을 깃발에 표현해 주세요. 선생님은 랩넌트에 R도 써주고 십자가도 표현해 보았어요. 수수깡이나 빨대를 깃발 길이에 맞게 자르고 꾸며요. 깃발 종이를 펼쳐서 안쪽에 붙여요. 깃발을 지도에 붙여볼까요? 소리내어 기도하며 깃발을 붙여요. 유럽에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 아시아에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 아프리카에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 오세아니아에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 북아메리카에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 남아메리카에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 우리나라에 복음이 전해지게 해주세요. 오늘의 작품 세계복음화 깃발 완성! 오늘 만든 세계복음화 깃발을 보며 소리내어 기도해 볼까요? 237 나라에 오직 복음만 전하는 렘넌트가 되게 해주세요. 소리내어 기도하면서 세계복음화의 꿈을 미리 꾸는 유치부 렘넌트 되세요.